gang violence and other kind of violence. So it is what it is.
What's good, Shadow Realm? It's your boy Jenquavius Jackson, and y'all already know I'm demonetized and shadow banned in this bitch. So if you want to contribute, go to the Cash App, the PayPal, the GoFundMe, or join the Patreon. Also, don't forget to visit the merch store for all your favorite BGZM News 17 gear, including our exclusive Trump is a Blood t-shirt. Go fast before they sell out. They are already flying off the shelves, no cap. And remember, these super gremlins are on demon time.
Yo, what's good, BGZM News 17 family? I'm at the corner of Jesse Jackson and Marcus Garvey, and I got some bad news for you. As you can see, I lost my job. I'm out here living in cardboard boxes outside of boarded up vacant homes. YouTube said I'm done getting money out here in these streets. They even took my funky ass suit. So anything right now would help. So go ahead and hit that Cash App, hit that PayPal, hit that GoFundMe. Hell, cop the merch. Or if you want to make the long-term commitment to the Jenquavius Jackson Fund, join the Patreon so that I can continue to put out top-notch content each and every day. Also, check out the Rumble, where there is absolutely no censorship. Link in the description box below.
Hey, yo, ain't that nigga Jenquavius? Yo, I recognize.
No, that's not me no more.
Hey, yo, run your pocket.
Y'all tell me what they say.
Do the opposite of Antonio Brown and take
What
all your
more do you want from me?
Now to the investigation into the murder of a local LGBTQ activist and military veteran found dead in Philadelphia's Tioga Nicetown section, only blocks from his home. Action News race and culture reporter Taronda Thomas talked to his mother today, and she joins us live now from the Satellite Center with the story. Taronda.
Well, Jillian, police have ruled the death of 33-year-old Marquise Jackson a homicide. The transgender man was an activist who stood up for people in his community, and now they are standing up for him.
This is my baby.
Tara Jackson shines with her mother's unconditional love.
I am who I am, Mom. I said, okay.
That conversation when her son, Marquise MJ Jackson, came out to her as trans.
He told me, Mom, I said, listen, I don't care what you...
Coming out to your mom as trans after serving in the military and living most of your life as a man is absolutely insane. Wow. I mean, the indoctrination is crazy.
Who you are, you still my child.
Another conversation last week was a lot more difficult.
Look, hold up. Bro got a black and mild. Like, bruh, you rocking Tim's, a beanie, and a black and mild dog. You ain't fooling nobody.
His girlfriend told me that he was missing.
Police found the 33-year-old last Wednesday in the backyard of a home in the 1800 block of Brunner Street in Tioga Nicetown. He had blunt force trauma to his head. The mystery prompting worried conversations among MJ's friends.
And it's not respected.
Including Portia Burton.
He was very loving. He loved his family.
She worked alongside Jackson as an activist.
Did a lot of canvassing for trans rights.
So is this a man too? Because at this point, I don't even know what to believe.
I worked with him on some homeless issues.
You're always thinking you could be next.
Now that's a man. Wow, this is crazy.
Selena Morrison speaks as executive director of Philadelphia's Office of LGBT Affairs, which is working with the DA's office and the police department. Jackson, who lived in Tioga Nicetown, is at least the 35th murder of a trans person nationwide.
We always use the term at least because often they go misreported, unreported.
The country's most recent previous murder of a trans person was also in Philadelphia.
We can solve these murders. We just need some dedicated individuals that are going to put in the work.
I just want justice for my son.
Demanding answers for her son who served.
Yo, Serving in the military, then going trans is crazy, bro. I don't even know how it happened. I really don't. Must have been some good drug. It was some type of dope. It had to be.
In the Army.
My son helped anybody. He would give you his shoes.
Now others are giving on a GoFundMe page to pay for his funeral expenses as a mother prepares to say goodbye but refuses to give up.
All I want is just justice for my child.
There's a $20,000 reward in this case, and Philadelphia police are accepting calls on their anonymous tip line. That number is 215-686-TIPS. Now, for anyone who might be uncomfortable calling police, the city's Office of LGBT Affairs is also accepting tips in this case. In the Satellite Center, Taronda Thomas, Channel 6 Action News.
Yeah, and you can make those tips anonymously. Taronda, thank you.
Family members and other LGBTQ victims of violence are urging the public to help bring justice to Marquise MJ Jackson. Jackson, a black transgender man, was murdered.
A black transgender man. So, we see the effects of the LGBT in the community. He got deleted, it appears. I don't know the story yet, but I hope he wasn't trying to fool somebody, because this is wild. They said the brother was trans, but they're identifying him as a male. So, you know, I'm wondering if he would be upset that they're, you know, posthumously misgendering him or her or they or whatever. But very, very sad situation here. Nobody deserves to lose their life. What I will say, though, is, you know, for one, being in the community is dangerous, but then being trans in the community, especially if you're just recently transitioning, man, I mean, it is rough out here.
In the city's Nicetown section last December. Well, today, District Attorney Larry Krasner announced that police have identified Jackson's killer as Charles Mitchell.
One of the things that Charles said to my mother to her face when my mom found my brother was, "I didn't know if that was a man or a woman, and gender should never matter."
So he said he didn't know if it was a man or a woman. And I think that bruh may have been doing some tomfoolery and finessing and saying that, oh, I'm a girl, and then pulled up being a dude. And that made Buddy snap, I guess, which if you are trans, you need to be straight up and honest about it. But you see a lot of young men transitioning nowadays to females, and they're actually calling them transcels now, because they're incel, black, white, Hispanic men, whatever. They're incels because they don't really have access to the WAP, or maybe they are struggling with their sexuality and they just transition out of nowhere and think life is going to be easier identifying as a female. And it's just like, especially when you look more like a man than a woman, nobody's really going to take your transition seriously.
So I forgave the person who caused this much pain to my family, not because I thought they did the right thing, but because my own mental health.
So she forgave him. All is forgiven.
And I needed to heal, and I couldn't heal unless I forgave.
If you have any information on Charles Mitchell's whereabouts, please contact police.
Yo, what's good, BGZM News 17 family? I'm at the corner of Jesse Jackson and Marcus Garvey, and I got some bad news for you. As you can see, I lost my job. I'm out here living in cardboard boxes outside of boarded up vacant homes. YouTube said I'm done getting money out here in these streets. They even took my funky ass suit. So anything right now would help. So go ahead and hit that Cash App, hit that PayPal, hit that GoFundMe. Hell, cop the merch. Or if you want to make the long-term commitment to the Jenquavius Jackson Fund, join the Patreon so that I can continue to put out top-notch content each and every day. Also, check out the Rumble, where there is absolutely no censorship. Link in the description box below.
Hey, yo, ain't that nigga did Quavius? Yo, I recognize.
No, that's not me no more.
Hey, yo, run your
Y'all killing me with this shit.
Do the opposite of Antonio Brown and take
What
all your
more do you want from me?
The Philadelphia DA's office issued an arrest warrant in connection with the murder of a transgender activist. DA Larry Krasner announced 40-year-old Charles Mitchell is wanted for the killing of Marquise MJ Jackson last December, that in the city's Tioga Nicetown section.
One of the things that Charles said to my
That man went from Lil Uzi to JT.
mother to her face when my mom found my brother was, I didn't know if that was a man or a woman, and gender should never matter.
This as officials say they are still investigating the shooting death of Shahir Diamond Jackson McDonald, a 27-year-old Black transgender woman who was found dead last Thanksgiving. They're asking anyone with information to come forward.
Today, Philadelphia prosecutors naming the suspect wanted for allegedly murdering a transgender man in the city's Nicetown neighborhood back in December. Charles Mitchell is accused of killing Marquise MJ Jackson in a backyard on the 1800 block of Brunner Street. DA Larry Krasner announcing an arrest.
A ratchet necklace and chest hair. And you thought you was going to get off with that? I mean, sad situation. You know, he might end up getting off too, because remember in Virginia, that Virginia football player, he got off for beating the Transformer because he got fooled. So it's wild, y'all.
Warrant for Mitchell today. In addition to Jackson's family, the family of Shahir Diamond Jackson McDonald, a trans woman who was murdered in Germantown back in November, they were there as well. Prosecutors say they will keep working tirelessly to protect the LGBTQ plus community.
Everybody who is here today, families.
Hold on, I'm confused. I'm so confused at this point. How is this man is that picture? Is that a different woman? Nah, it can't be. That's the same dude, right? He just, I don't know.
Survivors, activists, allies is here because these terrible losses of life are happening in a larger political context of continuous untruth, hatred, bigotry.
In addition to those two cases, prosecutors also announcing the sentencing of Abdullah El Amin. He was found guilty in August in the murder of Tracy Mia Green back in 2020. He'll spend the next 17 and a half to 35 years in prison.
And other LGBTQ victims of violence are urging the public to help bring those targeting their community to justice. Several cases remain unsolved. Carrie Corrado has more.
It took a lot of strength for these families to speak about their loved ones who were killed, many of them still searching for answers.
I didn't know ever in my life that I would be standing in a room full of people holding his photo.
Family members holding pictures of their loved ones close to their heart in an effort to stop the violence against the LGBTQ plus community.
No one deserves to.
Hold on, so is bruh trans? So they may not even be the same person, the transition picture and then the same picture, because I couldn't imagine that they would bring both pictures and man, I mean, it's really confusing at this point. You don't know what's what. I don't know, male, female, or I'm just lost at this point.
To be heinously taken out of this world at the hands of another human being.
Markeia Jackson is speaking about her brother Marquise Jackson, also known as MJ, who was murdered in December. The DA's office homicide and non-fatal shootings unit says Charles Mitchell is wanted for the murder and is still on the run.
I beg of you, anyone, to come forward to help my family, to be able to sleep again at night.
Tracy Mia Green was killed in 2020 after police say Green was found shot multiple times in a passenger seat of a car that was...
Okay, so this is a different woman. I was finna say, bruh. I was like, hold on. So how was bro trans then? What did he do to be trans? Did he just say he was trans and he was trans? I'm confused.
Pulled over by police.
My aunt deserves to be here with me today.
And this is 27-year-old Shahir Diamond Jackson McDonald, who investigators say was killed on Thanksgiving and found in a Germantown apartment. Police are still looking for the person responsible.
Just take a look at the collateral damage of violence and hate. This is what happens. It's not just the individual.
Survivor and activist Kendall Stevens says she herself was attacked by multiple people in her home in 2020. She wants lawmakers to push for more protection for the LGBTQ plus community.
I went to class the next day after I got beat because let me tell you something. No one's going to steal my pride. No one's going to steal my power. We deserve better than what we have gotten. We're human beings.
Investigators also want to remind the public that there are rewards for information that leads to an arrest. Carrie Corrado, CBS News, Philadelphia.
Gang violence and other kind of violence. So it is what it is.
What's good, Shadow Realm? It's the Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe. Let's get into the video. All right, guys. So we have to talk about this here. Want to make sure that everybody can hear me right. But we got to talk this school shooting. It occurred in Apalachee High School in Winder Barrel, Georgia, basically. Okay. This one hits home for me because it's very close to where I am, for sure. And I have people who are directly affected by this mass shooting. So, you know, there's a lot of people online saying it's a psyop, it's a false flag, it's this, it's that. No, it's very real. It's very true. And, you know, there's something sickening going on with the minds of these young people. In this case, we have a glider gremlin school shooter on demon time. And I mean, he didn't completely crash out, but he pretty much crashed out as far as the rest of his life goes. And unfortunately, there are reports coming out that part of the reason why this individual that goes by the name of Colt Gray, part of the reason why he crashed out is because he was upset that there wasn't acceptance for the trans LGBT community. Okay, let that sit in for you. I mean, this guy was I mean, he's a wacko leftist for sure. And I'm not trying to make it political, but it just helps with understanding his mindset, his ideology, what he meant to accomplish when committing this mass shooting. So what we're going to do, we're just going to get some updates, get some news about this mass shooting, and we're going to dive into as much as we can. And this is just on the fly research that I'm doing. I haven't really done much prep. I wanted to wait a few days for the story to get out so that I could have the full picture. And now I believe we do. At this point, his father has been arrested as well. His father bought him the firearm, the AR-15 style rifle that he used in this mass shooting to kill 4 people. So, without further ado, we're going to get into how this was being reported. And there's a multitude of scandals coming out of this story. One being that the FBI knew about this individual a year prior to him shooting. They knew about his engagement online and the things that he was saying, talking about committing a mass casualty shooting and even referencing wanting to attack an elementary school. This individual is completely deranged. He's a 14-year-old gay trans boy who has completely been indoctrinated by the left-wing mainstream media, and I believe was pretty much groomed into doing this. I'm not going to say directly by the FBI, but maybe with online media and then maybe just the things that he experienced being a gay kid. And obviously, you know, ain't nobody really rocking with that shit. Honestly, let's keep it a buck. They try and make it seem like it's super popular on television, but all it's going to do is get you flamed. And the fact that you're 14 years old talking about you're gay is crazy too. How are you gay in middle school? You ain't even had no pussy. So it just doesn't make any sense, in my opinion. And I'm going to keep it raw. I'm not going to filter myself. I'm not going to censor myself. It's like, fuck it. YouTube's going to censor me anyway. I don't give a damn at this point. I'm going to say what I feel like. I'm going to say what's on my mind. Obviously, in the regular videos, we're not going to curse like in the premieres and stuff. But in the lives, you know, we like to have a little fun. We like to express ourselves in very colorful ways. So without further ado, let's get into the story.
The arrest of Colt Gray comes after the Fox 5 team poured through public records today, trying to learn more about this father and his son.
Late today, the I-Team obtained a recording of a sheriff's office interview of both Grays, recorded after the FBI received a tip last year about a threat to shoot up a school.
Sis, do you have weapons in the house? I do. Are they accessible to him?
They are. I mean, there's nothing loaded, but they are down. Okay. We do a lot of shooting. We do a lot of deer hunting. He shot his first deer this year. Like, I don't know. I don't know anything about him saying like that, and I'm gonna be mad as hell if he did. And then all the guns will go away, and they won't be accessible to him.
Well, I mean, that obviously didn't happen at all. It's wild. It's wild that this is audio of, you know, an interrogation. He was questioned by deputies, and this is the local police who are questioning him. And I think this is more of a follow-up. And you can obviously see that either the father was just straight lying or he was enabling this behavior.
You know, I'm trying to be honest with you. I'm trying to teach him about firearms and safety and how to do it all and get him interested in the outdoors.
Now, that's just a portion of the Jackson County Sheriff's Office interview.
Fox 5 team reporter Jenny Edwards says it's...
I think his father was trying to help him not be gay anymore. I mean, let's keep it a buck. I'm trying to get him introduced to the outdoors. I'm trying to help him. I'm trying to get him involved in more masculine hobbies, more masculine, you know, things for him to do. Maybe his father had good intentions in introducing him to firearms, but this guy was a big pansy. He would probably have done better if he would have just thrown him in karate or, you know, a kung fu class or mixed martial arts, something other than firearms, something he could use to defend himself, not go, you know, hurt other people. In Winder, Georgia, it's very country. We call it Winder Barrel. Like, that's how we pronounce it out here. It's pretty much a local joke. But like I said, this is very close to home to me. Being in Winder and in my proximity to Winder. So it very much affects me. I've been to Apalachee High School multiple times, competed against them athletically when I was in high school. So I've touched the campus. I've touched this campus. I've been on this campus. I've played in their gymnasium. I've exercised in their school. I've played on their football field. I've done pretty much everything when it comes to Appalachee. I mean, I even used to deal with a girl who used to go to Appalachee. So very much familiar with what is going on out here. And, the reality is we are in a very tough spot when it comes to this country. There's violence going on all the time, everywhere. A lot of it coming out of the community, but then a lot of it is also coming out of other communities too. And we have to be real about that. We have to be honest about that and figure out what is driving everybody nuts. I know there are so many different factors going into this, but I think the mainstream media has a huge role in playing in this. Let's just keep it a buck, man. We need to take the gay shit back to where it was in I don't even want to say the 80s, but I mean, we need to take it back to where it wasn't all the way out in the open and people weren't just, proud of being gay and shit, because it really fucks these kids up, especially if they're on TikTok and they're scrolling and they're finding out about this shit prematurely. Like I said, man, there's just so many influences that are having these kids crash out. And, it's so polarizing if you are a leftist and you're in this country ass part of Georgia, right? It's so polarizing because everybody out here got Trump flags. Everybody out here is mostly conservative. Obviously, you got some lefties, and there's some leftist cities in Georgia, but most of this state is red. That's why we were all shocked when Georgia went to Biden in 2020. But we all know that they cheated out there in Atlanta. So the 300,000 missing electronic ballots. I mean, we all know what's going on there, or physical ballots. We all know what's going on there, but it can be so polarizing if you literally have the opposite political view. And he probably wanted to make a statement. He probably thought that he was King Dingaling and he was gonna do something to get everybody's attention, but all it is just bringing shame upon his family. It's destroying the fabric in the sanctity of the city of Winder. Dude, Winder is known to be relatively safe. It really is. Man, it's just shocking to see this happen so close to home. Let's go.
It's part of an emerging picture of a troubled family and some missed warning signs.
From what we're learning, Colt Gray's home life was fraught with problems. Police reports and court records concerning his parents, Colin and Marcy Gray, reveal a broken family. Colt living with his father, his two younger siblings living with their mother. Marcy Gray was arrested late last year for scratching her husband's truck. Then when they arrested her, police say they found her with methamphetamines, fentanyl, and a glass pipe. She was...
Damn, so his mama is a crack fiend or meth fiend, whatever. She a hoe. She's on that stuff. So that's fucking with him. And then, she's probably hanging out with all types of characters. So she's super lived out, super free life, get high, suck some dick for some meth. I'm not saying she actually did that, but that's just the lifestyle that, especially if you're a tweaker in Winder, oh, you tweaking for real. You tweaking for real, and you probably done found yourself on the streets of downtown panhandling, asking for drug money, and that could be very damaging for a kid. Because I mean, imagine you being a kid and then you walking down the street and you see your mama down there, panhandling for some money to buy some meth, or going through a dark alley and sucking some dick to get her next fix. It can be very traumatizing, especially for a little pampered ass little, pussy boy like this kid, I mean, there's some kids who just overcome adversity, face adversity, overcome adversity, and makes them harder and makes them stronger. Not saying that, having a hardened demeanor can always manifest itself in something positive, but some of these kids, man, they just can't handle it. And then also, he's just getting ridiculed at school because he's gay as hell and he's standing on the gay shit. And in Georgia, I mean, maybe in Atlanta, it's way more accepted, but in Winder Barrow, it's not cool to be gay, period. It is not cool to be gay I mean, it's just not. Especially in middle school and high school, it's just not cool to be gay. I don't even see, I mean, the only ones who really get a pass are the black gays because they've got black women to insulate them, but they don't get along with the heterosexual straight black men at all. That's why, like, gay black men, they have a love-hate relationship with heterosexual black men because they want to date the heterosexual men. A lot of gay men don't want to date other gay men. They want to turn a nigga out. Okay? They want to turn a heterosexual man out. So there's this adversarial relationship because obviously if you're a heterosexual man, you ain't going to be fucking with no gay dudes. I mean, it's some people who are going to, oh yeah, I'm secure in my masculinity. Yeah, I can hang out with a gay dude. Oh yeah, for sure. But it's just certain things that you can't do with a gay dude that you can do with your bros. Pause. Like, you can't even make jokes around a gay dude. Like, you can't make gay jokes around a gay dude. Whether it's making a joke about yourself or making a joke about them, it's always going to go the wrong direction. Like, imagine making a joke about a gay dude and you're making a joke like saying the F word or something like that, and just making jokes about, I'm not gonna say it online, but just making jokes about a gay dude, right? That way doesn't work. And then if you also try and make a joke about a gay dude, basically playing with your own type of in the joke, obviously not in real life, but saying some pause-worthy shit rather. If you try and make a joke like that where you might have said some sus shit or some gay shit or some pause-worthy shit, then you're put in an awkward position because then the nigga might think you're flirting with him. So heterosexual men, and I'm talking about truly heterosexual men, not dudes who are like out here and they say they're not gay, but then they're actually secretly gay, like in the closet. I'm talking about real heterosexual men. They don't hang out with gay people like that, period. I mean, that's just a fact. I mean, it's really just like that. It's really just like that because it's hard to make jokes with people who are going to get offended by the jokes or take the jokes the wrong way. So it's just like you can't relate with anything, man. Like, how do you not like pussy? We can't even talk about fucking bitches unless you're helping the guy, but that rarely happens.
Sentenced to 46 days in jail. Also last year, Colt Gray and his father received a visit from Jackson County Sheriff's investigators. They were looking into an FBI tip. Apparently, someone on a gaming app had threatened to shoot up a middle school. They believed Colt may have been involved. According to incident reports, the then 13-year-old told investigators he didn't make those threats. Here's a sheriff's investigator talking to Colt Gray.
I promise I will never say something. So you haven't used Discord in a few months? Oh, no. And you're saying you didn't say anything like that? No, the only thing I have is TikTok, but I just go around there and watch videos.
TikTok. Now, it's very easy for a young mind to get turned out on TikTok. So, I mean, let's just keep it a buck. I hate to say it, but nobody wants their kids to be gay. Let's be very real. So if you want to prevent that, I know this, oh, you're born gay. No, the hell you ain't. I mean, except for, very rare circumstances, man, most of it is socialized. Once you start telling kids that it's acceptable and it's just normal and it ain't normal, it's not acceptable. You know, it's not illegal, but it shouldn't be something that is praised or glorified or put out as something brave or glorious. No, like, bro, you're taking back shots, dude. That shit is different. But yeah, I mean, this guy, he just overall, you could just tell that he's weird. He has this, it looks like he tried to bleach his hair, dye his hair. It doesn't matter. Same difference. He's trying to look different, trying to be risque. I don't know exactly what he was into, but it sounds like this Discord has given law enforcement and the FBI a lot of insight into his mentality. What I will say, though, is he is a 14-year-old. Let's keep it a buck. He's a 14-year-old white kid, and he's going to crack whatever they ask him. He going to tell them. And eventually, if they keep interrogating him, they're going to know exactly why he did this shit. And they're going to know if he actually targeted specific people or if he was just going out crashing out on anybody, the first person he saw. So after this video, I'll get into some of you guys' comments. And guys, make sure you hit the PayPal. Make sure you hit the Cash App. You already know, bro, I'm demonetized. Come on, man. Y'all know this shit. I'm demonetized on all social media platforms. There's no way that I can make money on social media. For all the people in my comments who saying, how much the white man paying you for doing this content? Oh, you a sellout. Sellout what? I didn't sell shit. I ain't made no money. My merch don't make no money either. I'm fucking, honestly, I'm in the hole with the merch. So support the channel. I'm paying a monthly fee on what is it, Shopify, to keep the store up. That bitch is $40. That shit hit every time that shit hit. I'm like, damn. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm not even making a profit on the merch, so I'm just giving that out at cost. Boom. The cost that it takes me to make it is the cost that I'm selling it to you guys. So that's how much I love you. That's how much I want to see the shirts go, the hoodies go, all the merch go. Because then once we start growing, obviously the price is gonna go up. But it doesn't look like we're gonna have a quick growth. Let's keep it a buck. Our exponential growth as far as YouTube algorithm goes, that time frame died a long time ago. Usually, you know, if you make YouTube videos for about 6 months straight, consistently every single day, you get what's called an exponential growth spike. And then you'll go from like 5,000 to 10,000 and 10,000 to 20,000 and 20,000 to 40,000 very quickly. But you guys know, y'all can see I've been steady at about 8K ish. And that's because I'm severely throttled, severely shadow banned. Many people don't see my channel when they get the notifications, or they don't get the notifications, rather. They don't see my channel scroll up on their timeline. And many people are unsubscribed from my channel every single day. I usually get between 1 to 5 unsubscriptions every single day. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel because this content is extremely important. Shout out to KT for the $10 Cash App. I really appreciate that.
Hold on. Yeah. Hello? Where we at? Oh, you want to know where I'm at? We outside!
You didn't say anything like that. No, all thing I have is TikTok, but I just go around there and watch videos.
Colt's father told police he did have guns in the house. He said they were accessible but not loaded. He said he and his son would go hunting and shooting together. He said he wanted his son away from video games and into the outdoors. Colt even shot his first deer that year. Colt Gray also told police his son had problems at school, including being picked on.
I've been up to school, like I'm on first name. I just was up there 3 days ago for his finals, talking to the principal, like, look, we talk about it quite a bit. All the school shootings, things that happen.
Yeah.
Are you getting picked on at school? He is. He's getting picked on at school. And is everything okay? That's why I keep going up there.
So he is getting picked on at school. And I mean, what's the likelihood that he's taking a whole different personality home to his father than he is at school? I mean, I can almost guarantee it. He's going into school a completely different person, and then he's coming out back home and putting on the country white boy. Oh yeah, all I've got is TikTok, and I don't even I don't even know how to work that thing. I just swipe up and watch videos. That boy is very tech savvy. Let's keep it a buck. I mean, homosexual men tend to be very tech savvy because a lot of their communication is going to come from online. It's not going to come from in person. And I mean, see, there's so many different and niggas gonna be like, how you know about this? I mean, it's just observation. Especially when you've been in very liberal cities, you observe things, and there's very different like social groups within the homosexual community. Though they're the trans group, who's a whole different group within themselves. You got the homosexual community, which is, I mean, they're pretty much doing each other, right? Then you got the lesbians, right? The bisexuals, okay? And they all move in a different way, right? The lesbians are more soft, more gender fluid. I mean, not gender fluid, but sexually fluid. They go both ways, especially if they're attractive. And then you got like the gay dudes who are cool with a whole bunch of girls. And then you have gay dudes who can't get cool with girls. And then they can't get cool with dudes either because nobody wants to hang around a gay dude unless you're a bunch of gay dudes. But then, you know, it's going to end up, y'all going to be getting intermingled. And then there's going to be drama and issues. I mean, it's not many spaces that gay people can go. So a lot of their life where they really get to be themselves is going to be online. And you see people getting exposed here and there, you know, over time. There was this, I think it was some preacher who actually deleted himself because his transgender identity was, he was like an anti-homosexual preacher or some shit. And his trans identity was exposed to the world and his congregation. He ended up shooting himself, putting a shotgun in his mouth and going bye-bye. So, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of their interactions are from online. So he very much knew what the hell he was doing on TikTok. He knew it. I mean, you got to be pretty tech savvy to be on Discord too. I mean, it's not a boomer thing. Like there's no boomers on Discord saying, how do you, hey, whippersnapper, how do you work this thing, right? No, there's not boomers on Discord, bro. There's really not. There might be like 6 or 7 of them. But I mean, the internet is just such a vast place, man. You got so many different personalities, and there's so many different wars you can fight on the internet. Like, I mean, I even have a couple personalities on the internet, right? Like I got my business personality, and I got my reclaim personality, and I got the Black Gen Z personality, and they're all the same person, but all of the content is different. But you have this guy, and he's on social media, and he's probably just being, it sounds like to me, he was maybe like, I mean, obviously school shooter, but like raging leftist online troll. That's what it seems like to me. Black pill, incel, because he's gay cell, trans cell, if you will. We talked about it in the video that I showed you guys before. Trans cells, okay? Trans cells. Remember this term. Trans cells, okay? So we have incels who are involuntarily celibate, okay? Involuntarily meaning, you know, they don't have a choice. They don't have an option. Celibate meaning they are not getting sex. And the involuntarily part puts an emphasis on the fact that they can't get sex. It's not that they don't want sex. It's that they can't get sex from the opposite sex. So there are a lot of young men who are, and I mean, he's 14 years old. He shouldn't be having sex anywhere or thinking about it, right? He shouldn't even be thinking about sex or his sexuality or anything like this. But I mean, I guess you start to get those types of feelings when you get that around that age. But it's not like you're expected to just, you know, be fucking bitches at 14. Let's just keep it a buck. But because of the online access, he feels hopeless. He sees his, you know, peers, not going to say they're friends because it seems like he didn't really have that many friends, but he sees his peers having success with women, getting girlfriends, going to the movies, having their first kiss. And he's over here confused about if he likes men or women. And then, you know, maybe a guy that he did like just coldly destroys him. Hell, he might even be in love with his bully. Goddamn. I mean, these situations in high school, You never know. You know, like I remember back when I was in high school, middle school, whatever. And there were particular people who I, took an interest in, and I'd be like, yo, I wonder what she's thinking. I wonder what she thinks about me. Or I wonder what this and that. You know what I'm saying? Like there's feelings and thoughts that you have and even scenarios that you make up in your head as a high schooler, like, oh, what if I ask her to prom? Or, maybe she likes me or whatever. And then in reality, when you actually get the balls and you have to actually get the courage to ask her out, she just brutally destroys you. And that could be the same for this gay dude, right? Colt Gray. It could be the same for him. He might have had a guy who he liked. And gay dudes like heterosexual men first, not other gay men. They want to turn a heterosexual man out. So he might have liked the heterosexual kid in his class or whatever. And then he gets completely destroyed by that kid. Maybe called the F word. I heard they were calling him Colt Gay instead of Colt Gray because his last name rhymes with gay. And then he was actually gay. And what are the chances of his father even knowing that he was gay? That's probably why he wanted him off the video game. He saw him on the video game smacking it to fucking gay hentai porn. I mean, it gets wicked on the internet, especially for a 14-year-old kid. I mean, he's getting deep in there. And a lot of people don't understand this. The boomers don't understand this. A lot of the millennials don't even understand this because they was working a job at 16 and they started working at their father's plant or whatever. They started working. They weren't on video games. They weren't on the internet. They didn't have iPads when they were 2 years old. But these kids do now. And it's like, think about when you got on the internet and where you are now in your internet life, these kids are getting to that point in 2 years. In 2 years. As far as their advancement on the internet, their ability to navigate through the internet, their understanding of the real internet and then the dark web. These kids know what the dark web is at 10 years old. Okay? So let's keep going.
He's getting picked on at school, and is everything okay? That's why I keep going up there.
After that talk, police left. They weren't able to substantiate the tip. Here's where a breakdown may have occurred. The Jackson County Sheriff tells us she believes her department alerted Jackson County schools, telling them, keep monitoring Colt Gray. In an email obtained by the I-Team, a sheriff's captain tells the FBI, we have made area schools aware and will monitor this subject. But by that point, Colt Gray had already finished 8th grade at Jefferson Middle School. By 9th grade, he and his father had moved to a different county, and that's where he started at Apalachee High School in Barrow. This is what we're still trying to figure out, if that alert from Jackson County carried over to the new school districts, and what would monitoring even mean?
So he went from Jackson County to Barrow County, and they're like within 10, 15 minutes apart from each other. Oh, man. I mean, this is eerie. And there's so many different stories coming out from this mass shooting now. It's so tragic. It's so saddening, so upsetting. But this is the world that we are living in now. This is the world that we are living in now. These trans glider gremlins are on demon time. All right, so let's get to another news clip. Just some more information. We got the father who has been arrested. And he has been arraigned since now, I believe. So let's get into the father. Let me actually pull up this CNN article real quick too, because a lot of people say, "Oh, is he trans? Is he trans?" I think he was headed that way, honestly. I think he was headed that way because, I mean, he's dyeing his hair, he's growing his hair out. He is a trans cell. He was a trans cell, literally. I mean, that's just what he was, man. That's just what he was. All right. So here's the CNN article outlining. See, of course they're gonna add these ads, but here's a CNN article outlining this young man's trans cell ideology. His trans cell ideology. He was acting as a trans cell in Discord servers. Y'all can see how much I love that word, trans cell, the term, right? But yes, this man was indeed a trans cell, not man, but little kid. Georgia high school shooting suspect referenced Parkland massacre in writings found in his bedroom, sources say. Winder, Georgia, and I'm surprised he didn't reference Uvalde, because the Uvalde shooter had a very similar story to his. Broken home, mother was a hoe or a crackhead or both. Very similar stories, but I'm surprised he didn't, liken himself to that one, maybe because he was Mexican. But authorities searching the home, or I don't know, he was El Salvadorian or some shit. Authorities searching the home of the 14-year-old accused of killing 4 people at a Georgia high school this week found documents that they believe he wrote referencing past school shootings. A law enforcement source familiar with the investigation told CNN. So obviously this is negligence on the father's side, and yes, the father sounds like a blue-collar man who worked a day job, probably even earlier than 9. He probably waking up at 6 a.m. in the morning, going to work, commuting to work, whatever. So he couldn't really keep that eye on his son. And then he also didn't have the mother there. We talk about single mother-raised households, but in these rare instances, this looks like it was a single father-raised household. But the reason why the mother wasn't involved, I think, had a significant role to play in this young man's, upbringing, ideology, belief, whatever. But the source said that the writings were discovered in the bedroom of suspect Colt Gray and included references to the 2018 massacre at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Florida. The discovery, which could shed more light on a motive for the shooting, comes amid an emerging portrait of Gray's tumultuous family life and the years leading up to the deadly attack, revealed in a CNN review of court and law enforcement records, social media posts, and an interview with his grandfather. As a portrait has emerged, so have details about the investigation and authorities' pursuit of those they allege bear responsibility in the shooting. Gray told investigators, "I did it," while being questioned. Barrow County Sheriff Judge Smith told CNN on Thursday. Oh, well, I mean, I told you he was going to crack. I told you he was going to pop, spill it all. Initially when the cops reported on it, they said that, oh, well, we may never know why he's going to do this. I'm like, how are you going to never know? Y'all didn't kill him at the scene of the crime. He didn't crash out and try and go down in a blaze of glory with police. He surrendered. He gave up his firearm. Y'all arrested him. And y'all thought a 14-year-old boy wouldn't crack and spill the beans on why he did it? Of course he's going to spill the beans. He already saying he did it while being questioned. And then the follow-up question is, why? What inspired you to do this? Who inspired you to do this? Did you have any help? Were you instigated to do this? So on and so forth. How was your school life? How was your home life? Blah, 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 blah. That's why they end up making the arrest to his dad. Where'd you get the gun? Oh, your dad bought you the gun? Okay, that's a charge. Y'all see how this works? As the portrait has emerged, so have details about the investigation and authorities' pursuit of those they allege bear responsibility in the shooting. And while Gray faces 4 counts of felony murder, Gray's father, Colin, also has been arrested in connection with the shooting, accused of knowingly allowing his son to possess a weapon. Georgia Bureau of Investigation Director Chris Hosey said Thursday, Colin Gray was charged with 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter, 2 counts of second-degree murder, and 8 counts of cruelty to children, the GBI said. As for Colt Gray's family situation, his parents went through a bitter separation and custody dispute in recent years. They called law enforcement on each other. The family was evicted from at least one home, and Gray's mother was arrested on suspicion of keying her husband's car and drug possession, law enforcement records show. And the drugs that she was on were not no ho. Okay, when you are on meth, you are cuckoo crazy, man. At the same time, Gray's mother and maternal grandfather have accused Gray's father of being verbally abusive towards his family for years. Okay. So there you have it. The mother and maternal grandfather. So mama's side saying the father was verbally abusive. He was just a good kid, but he lived in an environment that was hostile. Charles Palamas said on Colt Gray, his grandson. So this is the mother's side of the family, the Palamas side. And you can see on Facebook the Palamas side coming out and defending the hell out of this young man. The Palamas family are, I mean, they are going hard for that boy. I can show you guys pictures of, you know, how he was living. He had a little gravel road for his driveway. I'll show you guys that once we pull up the Facebook information. But yeah, his family is definitely backing him. Definitely backing him. And man, it's just they have a wonky family familial situation going on here. That's for damn sure. So the grandfather said he never seen Colt show any kind of anger problems, but that the turbulent family life had affected the teenager. Now investigators seeking to understand the suspect's motive are looking into family's previous contact with the state's Child Protective Service Agency. The GBI director said Wednesday the suspect's father told investigators this week he had purchased a gun used in the killings as a holiday present for his son in December 2023, according to two law enforcement sources with direct knowledge of the investigation. One source told CNN the AR-15 style rifle was purchased at a local gun store at a Christmas present. The other source described the gift as a holiday present. Attempts to reach both of the suspect's parents for comment on Wednesday and Thursday were unsuccessful. CNN was working to determine whether Colt Gray and Colin Gray have legal representation. Colt Gray's parents' relationship started out with promise. In July 2011, shortly after he was born, his parents bought a small farm in Barrow County, Georgia, outside of the college town of Athens. They plan to create a nonprofit therapeutic riding school for local underprivileged children. His mother, Marcy Gray, who worked in industrial engineering, later wrote in a LinkedIn post. But those plans were derailed in part because her husband, Colin Gray, had at least 3 major back surgeries, she wrote. The couple, who had 3 children, later sold the farm in 2019, according to property records. After they moved, the family faced lawsuits from multiple landlords and were evicted from one home by a county sheriff's deputy in July 2022 for failing to pay rent. According to court records, and that was after the rent moratorium went up. So the rent moratorium started in, or the eviction moratorium rather, started in, I believe, either early 2000 or late 2019. And then it went on until like 2022. And then by then, a lot of renters were not paying their rent, and then automatic eviction notices. As part of the eviction, sheriff's records show deputies collected 3 firearms, including an AR-15 and at least 1 hunting bow, and kept them for safekeeping. The weapons were later released to the owner, documents say. Later that year, Marcy Gray wrote on social media that she had left her husband, finally separated from the abusive husband of almost 14 years. She wrote in one LinkedIn comment on a post from December 2022, "Hardest ish I've ever done, but we're in good hands. I packed myself and my babies up and relocated to my hometown in South Georgia." Gray added in another post in May 2023, "We are all good and my kids are thriving." So you see how the mother was trying to save face on social media. And I mean, she has a Facebook. It looks like she relocated to Fitzgerald, Georgia. Okay. And you know, she's on Facebook with the kid. There's pictures of the kid with her. And yeah, I mean, it's a very sad story of how this all played out. I don't think she had custody of all the kids. I think it looks like maybe the father had custody of little Colt here. But school shooting threat investigated. Let me take a sip of water really quickly. The same month, however, law enforcement agents were investigating 13-year-old Colt Gray in connection with a school shooting threat. Investigators with the Jackson County Sheriff's Office interviewed Colt and his father about a threat on the online chat platform Discord to commit a school shooting. Documents obtained through a public records request show Colt Gray denied making the threat. An investigation report said a Discord spokesperson told CNN on Wednesday that the platform removed an account believed to be associated with Gray in May 2023 for violating Discord's policy against extremism. Colin Gray told investigators he had hunting rifles in the house and that Colt is allowed to use them when supervised, but does not have unfettered access to them. The report said the case was later cleared because the tip could not be substantiated. Transcript. So I don't see how they can't substantiate these tips and all this kind of stuff. Can't they just track IP addresses? Isn't this the FBI? Like, what the fuck? When they want to get somebody, they gonna get them. But in this case, can't be substantiated. Can't you get MAC addresses, IP addresses? Isn't the same? It's the same technology they use to shadow ban. Is the same technology they can use to track people down. Transcripts from the interview and a subsequent phone call show that Colin Gray said his son was getting picked on at school, with other students pinching and touching him, just ridiculed him day after day after day. He also said that he was trying to teach him about firearms and safety and how to do it all and get him interested in the outdoors, in part to get him away from video games. He knows the seriousness of weapons and what they can do and how to use them and not use them, Colin Gray said. In his interview, Colin Gray told investigators that he had separated from his wife, who took their 2 younger children with her. The suspect's father said that Colt, the oldest of the 3 siblings, had some problems at a middle school in Jackson County, but has since moved to another school, and it had gotten a lot better, one of the investigators wrote. So it very much seems that he was still holding those issues that he developed. He was holding those issues that he developed at that middle school and bringing them from Jackson County to Barrow County. And, it just all bubbled up and exploded. I mean, this kid, a lot of people say, oh, he was a good kid. He was a good kid. Nah, I mean, this kid's a piece of shit for what he did. Right. Let's keep that same energy. I mean, he doesn't deserve a second chance, and he's getting charged as an adult. So, I mean, there you have it. All right, let's keep going. Gray was only enrolled in Jackson County School District between February and August 2022, said Edward Hooper, the spokesperson for the district. Jackson County is next to Barrow County, where Colt Gray is accused of killing 2 fellow students and teachers at Apalachee High School. In October 2023, Barrow County Sheriff's deputies responded to a wellness check on the Gray family after Marcy Gray reported that she hadn't heard from her husband or their children in 2 weeks. Colin Gray, who was at their residence, said all of their children were with him, a sheriff's deputy wrote in a report. Colin Gray gave the deputy a paper from the Georgia Division of Family and Children's Services that showed a safety plan was put in place for him to have the children with him, and Marcy Gray could not see them without permission or without supervision, the deputy wrote. A spokesperson from the Georgia Department of Health Services said Thursday she could not comment on the case due to confidentiality laws. Excuse me. But Georgia Bureau of Investigation Director Chris Hosey said at a press conference Wednesday that the Bureau was aware that the division had previously had some previous contacts with the Gray family, and we are pursuing that avenue as well to see if that has any connection with today's incident. On November 2023, Colin Gray called law enforcement and accused his wife of keying a truck he drove for his work at a construction company. Told you he was waking up at 6 a.m. working for a construction company, writing abuse and liar on it, according to a sheriff's report. And, that's not okay for women to key people's cars. So it definitely seems like the toxicity was coming from both sides, not just the man's side. 2 days later, police arrested Marcy Gray at a Walmart in Winder due to an active warrant from another county. Police found methamphetamine, fentanyl, pain pills, and a glass pipe in her car, and she and another man who was in the vehicle were arrested, another sheriff's report said. So she was over here, you know, popping pussy with the tweakers. After being arrested, Marcy Gray admitted keying her husband's truck, saying she lost it after he refused to let her see her kids, the report said. Marcy Gray pleaded guilty to the following month to criminal damage to property. And it's not that the husband refused to let you see your kids. A judge, a court order refused to let you see your kids. See, this is the problem. When women lose in court, you know, they go and they crash out and they do these irrational things. But when men lose in court, they're just supposed to suck it up and, you know, get raked over the coals. But obviously her husband's dumb as fuck too for giving this kid a gun. Marcy Gray pleaded guilty the following month to criminal damage to property, criminal trespass, family violence, and use of a license plate to conceal identity, and was sentenced to a total of 5 months probation after serving more than a month in custody. As part of her guilty plea, she was barred from contacting her husband except through a third party for divorce negotiations and custody discussion. A friend of Marcy Gray, who asked not to be named for privacy, told CNN that the legal trouble she faced was not the Marcy we know, calling her a sweet, caring, and smart woman who had changed. Something happened in the relationship that went wrong, the friend said. According to polygamist Marcy Gray's father, she lost custody of her children after failing a drug test, moved back in with her parents in South Georgia, and is going through rehab. Polygamist said he had never thought his grandson would be capable of such a deadly attack. I understand that Colt chose to do what he did, and I understand he has to pay for it, he said. But I'm telling you, the environment that he lived in, you put somebody in a situation like that for 10 to 11 years, guess what's going to happen? Nothing good. So, you know, obviously, the grandfather is that dismissive of his actions. Obviously, he said he needs to pay and he needs accountability. I think that he should get the death penalty. He is eligible. If they're going to try him as an adult, he will be eligible for the death penalty, and the death penalty is something that we do here in hot Georgia. Okay, so yeah, it's going to get fried up if you try and emulate and repeat any of these vile, hateful acts. You will be fried. So yeah, and he's lucky he didn't do it in South Carolina, because they just passed a law where they can actually execute you with a firing squad. So that's firing squad executions for extremely violent criminals. The Discord account that the FBI had linked to Colt Gray last year referenced plans for a future mass shooting and shared screenshots of firearms, according to documents obtained by CNN. I'm committing a mass pew-pew, and I'm waiting a good 2 to 3 years, stated the account user, according to screenshots included in an FBI incident report from May 2023 obtained by CNN. I can't kill myself yet because I'm not contributing anything to culture. I need to go out knowing I did. So he thinks that contributes to culture. That's fucking crazy. The account referenced Adam Lanza, the Sandy Hook elementary school shooter, and in separate posts shared a desire to target an elementary school and express frustration that transgender people were being accepted in society. Above a photograph of 2 firearms, the account posted, "I'm ready." The FBI tip was shared with the Jackson County Sheriff's Office, which closed the investigation after finding that the user behind the Discord account that made the threat cannot be substantiated. A Discord spokesperson told CNN on Wednesday the platform removed an account believed to be associated with Gray in May 2023 for violating Discord's policy against extremism. All right, so you guys can see what is going on there. Okay, so let's cover the father being arrested.
Shocking new twist in the Georgia school shooting. Authorities have arrested the father of the 14-year-old accused of killing 4 people at Apalachee High School.
Fox 59's Kit Hanley has all the details of what we know so far. Kit?
Lindy Scott, good morning. Colt Gray, the 14-year-old suspect, is to make his first court appearance virtually today. And now Georgia police say his father is also in custody for his connection to the tragic attack at Apalachee High School. Here's what we know about the relationship. You're looking at the father of the suspected gunman, 54-year-old Colt Gray. He's now being charged with second-degree murder, as well as multiple counts of involuntary manslaughter and cruelty to children. Police say Gray knowingly allowed his son, Colt, to possess a weapon, and that he actually bought his son the AR-style rifle as a gift. The teen has been charged as an adult for the killings of 4 people, 2 teachers and 2 students, both also 14 years old. And now the community is coming together to heal and mourn the loss of their peers while also processing this unimaginable information. Meanwhile, we continue to learn more about the 4 victims. An eyewitness says 53-year-old algebra teacher Christina Irami died after jumping in front of a student to protect them.
My friend, my neighbor, she was going to get shot, but Miss Ernie stood up and took the bullet for her.
Damn.
So, yeah, but, you know, that's very, very strong for her to do.
And 39-year-old football coach Richard Aspinwall was also killed, as well as 14-year-olds Mason Schermerhorn and Christian Angulo. We're told the 9 others injured are expected to make a full recovery. And as we first told you yesterday, the FBI had the alleged gunman on its radar for over a year after connecting online school shooting threats posted in May of 2023 back to the suspect, but say they had no probable cause for an arrest at the time. And we found out the dad actually bought the gun for his son just a couple of months after this initial incident. Yesterday, the Jackson County Sheriff told a reporter she did not believe it was a missed opportunity that her office didn't make that arrest last year. In the studio, Kit Hanley, Fox 59 News.
Kit. Damn. So let's keep going. We're going to get into an article that really outlines the bullying that Colt had received. Obviously, his father spoke about, classmates touching him and all this kind of stuff. I ain't gonna lie. Once we get behind themselves, I'm whooping my kid's ass if he get my ass locked up. The dad's dumb as fuck too, but I'm whooping his ass once we get behind themselves, bruh. I am beating his ass because how you got me locked up in here with your dumb ass for committing a mass shooting. Let's go.
We start with the suspected Georgia high school shooter and his father, both in court this morning. The judge told 14-year-old Colt Gray that he is facing life in prison without parole for allegedly killing 2 classmates and 2 teachers. In a historic case, prosecutors have also charged his father with multiple counts of second-degree murder, felony manslaughter, and cruelty to children. Sources tell NBC News that Colt Gray gave his son an AR-15 style rifle as a gift after the FBI already investigated the teenager for allegedly making threats online to shoot up a school last year. He was emotional in court. That is the father there, rocking back and forth throughout the hearing.
How old are you, Mr. Gray?
54.
And are you able to read and write, understand the English language without any difficulty?
Yes, sir.
You understand that you have the right to be represented by an attorney at all times for this and all future proceedings in your case?
Yes, sir.
We are covering all angles of the school shooting and the unprecedented charges against the suspect's father. NBC News legal analyst Danny Savalos is standing by to break down this case. But first, we head over to NBC News correspondent Priya Sridhar, live outside Apalachee High School in Winder, Georgia. Priya, these are the most serious charges ever filed against the parent of a school shooting suspect. Talk to us about what happened in court today.
Yeah, absolutely, Vicki. Well, 14-year-old Colt Gray appeared in court today facing those 4 felony murder charges corresponding to the 4 victims who died in this mass shooting here at Appalachee High. He was wearing a green jumpsuit and was shackled, and he was very soft-spoken. He answered all of the judge's basic questions about whether or not he understood the charges that he faced with a simple yes, sir. Now, at one point, the judge actually dismissed him from the courtroom, but then brought brought him back once again. And there was a little bit of confusion because we understand that Gray is actually going to be tried as an adult, despite the fact that he's only 14 years old. But the judge wanted to clarify that he will not be facing the death penalty because he still is a teenager. But he did say that he could face life imprisonment with or without parole. And then just moments later, we saw his father, 54-year-old Colin Gray, enter the same courtroom and stand in front of the same judge. He was wearing a black and white jumpsuit, also was shackled. He, of course, is being held in an adult correction center versus a juvenile correction center. And you could hear in his voice that he was visibly shaken. Now, the front row in that courtroom was made up of people who were wearing sunglasses. We saw sheriff deputies shaking their hands, and they seemed very emotional throughout the proceedings. So we are assuming that those are family members who were inside of that courtroom today, Vicky.
Priya, it's just an emotional scene all around. We are also learning more today about the actions of math teacher and football coach Richard Aspinwall, who died in this shooting. Tell us a little bit more.
Yeah, you know, I got a chance to speak with one of his family friends who's known him for about 12 years, and they were actually teachers together in a neighboring school district. This was his second year at Apalachee High School, and she's still friends with his wife, who, as you can imagine, is just completely distraught right now. He leaves behind 2 young girls, and he's been talked about from his students and the students that he also coached as a football coach as just being completely beloved at the school, Vicky.
NBC News correspondent Priya Sridhar. Priya, thank you very much.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the.
So there you have it. Now let's talk about the bullying, because I believe the bullying needs to be covered. It's a big factor. Apparently, he was going to Jackson County Middle Schools where he was being bullied. So as you can see, alleged Georgia school shooter Colt Gray was ridiculed by classmates, frequently called gay. So his classmates called him gay, and then he said he crashed out because he was upset with the acceptance of trans students in this Discord, group. So, you know, some people could say that this, I don't know, it seems like it's a reverse Uno card, where he's upset with his own sexuality and then he crashes out and tries to posture it as if he's, you know, against the thing that he potentially is. I don't know. It's very difficult because there's so much confusion in the trans community. But alleged Georgia school shooter Colt Gray was frequently called gay by bullies, including some who physically harassed him, his father told investigators in 2023 phone call. I was trying to get him on the golf team, like, oh, look, Colt's gay. He's dating that guy. Just ridiculed him day after day after day, Colin Gray, 54, told authorities in newly revealed transcripts. I don't want him to fight anybody, but they just keep like pinching him and touching him, and that's a whole different deal, the dad said at one point, and it's just escalated to point where like his finals were last week. And that was lasting on his mind. That's wild. Colt, then 13, had landed on the FBI's radar after allegedly threatening to shoot up a middle school on Discord, an online messaging platform popular among gamers. The Jackson County Sheriff's Office paid a visit to the boy's home and spoke to his father, who said his son was bullied and admitted that the boy had access to firearms in the house. During the phone conversation several weeks later, Gray told the investigator that he introduced bow hunting, a pellet gun, and then a .22 rifle and gun safety to his son for deer hunting. He's going through a lot. He just wants us to have a simple life. It was very difficult for him to go to school and not get picked on, said Colin, who now faces manslaughter and murder charges alongside his son. Just before 10:30 a.m. on September 5th, Colt allegedly opened fire at Appalachee High School with an AR-15 style rifle given to him by his father as a Christmas present. Colt is accused of killing 2 students and 2 teachers. What we know about alleged Georgia school shooter Gray's family. Georgia school shooting suspect Colt Gray had difficult home life filled with abuse and neglect. Gray's mother, Marcy, has multiple drug and domestic violence arrests. Gray's father, Colin, allegedly bought his troubled son an AR-15 rifle on Christmas. He is now facing charges for supplying the weapon. Lauren Vickers, a neighbor of the family, says the children were often locked out of the home. Charles Palamas, Gray's maternal, and that's what happens when you come home and your father's still working, and your kids ain't got no house key. Charles Palamas, Gray's maternal grandfather, says Colin Gray was verbally abusive towards his grandson and daughter. Gray's aunt, Annie Brown, says Gray had been struggling with his mental health. And here's Gray's father here pictured, the one who bought him the firearm that was used in this mass shooting. 2 adults and 2 children were killed in the shooting. 9 others were injured and treated at local hospitals with injuries not believed to be life-threatening. The teen gunman surrendered immediately upon being confronted by school resource officers and was taken into custody, where he fessed up to the massacre, telling cops, "I did it," authorities said. The father and son appeared back-to-back at the Barrow County Courthouse on Friday morning, where Colt was told he could be facing life in prison if convicted in the killings. His father faces up to 180 years behind bars if convicted of involuntary manslaughter in these deaths. So there you have it, man. He's cooked. He's cooked. That's what we call being cooked. Let's see. We got the father making the appearance. We could watch the whole thing, but probably not. I'm trying to find more. Okay. We got let's talk about the victims. Let's talk about the victims. We already talked about one of the teachers who gave her life, and then the football coach as well. And then there were 2 students who were killed as well. So let's check this one out.
Learning more about the life of one of the victims of the Appalachee High School shooting, 14-year-old Mason Skirmerhorn was one of the 2 students killed. Fox 5's Brittany Edney spoke exclusively with his sister, and Brittany joins us now to share family pictures and details about this young man.
Yeah, that's right, Christine. His sister shared with us a lot of home pictures and videos, everything from things that they like to do with each other to family vacations. She says that she has been going through an unexplainable amount of grief, but still she wants the world to know a little bit more about her baby brother.
Happy birthday to you.
In his short life, 14-year-old Mason Skirmerhorn loved all things fun and games.
PS5 VR headset. He likes playing Roblox and Genshin.
His sister Alana remembers the happy times they shared together. But Mason was taken from her in a senseless act of violence at Apalachee High School.
Live your life for him.
Surrounded by friends, she wants the world to know about her little brother. That infectious smile and laughter.
That he loved everyone. Like, no matter what they had with disabilities, he loved everyone for them.
And his love of all things playful.
What?
Tragically, this sister has lost a younger sibling with big brother energy.
It's going to be hard. It's going to be different.
You are genuinely so strong.
In this small town, there are no shortage of hugs or support after the unthinkable.
It says that we're in it together. And it means a lot because it means everyone's looking out for each other.
There has also been a GoFundMe account that's been set up to help this family during all of this, troubling times that they're going to experience not only now, but in the future as well. You can find that on our website. All you need to do is go to fox5atlanta.com and you'll be able to find the link and, learn more about what the family has said as well. And again, if you would like to donate anything in any way, you have that opportunity. Reporting live, Brittany Edney, Fox 5 News.
The family's going to cling to those precious memories they made.
So that was one of the kids who was killed in this mass shooting. So RIP to him. I believe his name was Mason, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, Mason Skirmerhorn. And he, seemed like a really good kid. It's just tragic that this young man lost his life to this mass shooting. I mean, it's ridiculous. Now, here is one of the female teachers who was murdered by this 14-year-old wacko. Let's keep going.
I can say that it was one of the worst days of my life.
Pastor at St. Mary's Romanian Orthodox Church in Decula, Nicolae Klempis, says Cristina Irimia was not just a member of his church, but a close personal friend.
The first thing you see is her big smile. She was always smiling.
Klempis says she immigrated to the United States more than 2 decades ago. He says Irimia was very social and brought a smile to others around her.
And also volunteering with the ladies in the church kitchen, always joking about things, always laughing with them. So one of the first things everybody will tell you about her is that she was very joyful and happy.
But her real mark at the church and in their tight-knit Romanian community, he says, would be the impact on the children.
She was dedicated to children in everything she was doing.
Not only did she tutor kids in the community in math, the subject she taught at Apalachee High School, but she led a children's traditional Romanian dance group, passing on important cultural heritage to the next generation.
Wow.
Always surrounded by the kids. Even though she didn't have any kids by her own, she had a multitude of community kids that were always following her. So that's one of the legacies she will leave behind to us.
Klempis says he can't understand how she was killed in a place she held sacred, a place of learning and education.
It's hard to accept, and it's almost impossible to find the logic in it. There is no logic in this kind of tragedy.
But he says they will forever honor her sacrifice.
We consider her to be a hero, somebody that we're going to remember and to look for as a role model for our generations.
Wow. So it's crazy, man. It's crazy. It is wild. All right, let's see his appearance in court. The shooter, Colt Gray. I mean, he is not gonna make it. This kid's not gonna make it, man. Especially when he gets up to that adult facility. Lord have mercy. If he thought his home life was bad, woo! Them Georgia State penitentiaries ain't nothing to play with.
All right, good morning, sir. Are you Mr. Colt Gray? My name's Curry Mingledorf. I'm assigned to preside over this morning's proceedings. Mr. Gray, I do need to inquire as to whether you're able to read and write the English language. Yes, sir. All right. I also want to inform you, I want to ask you, do you understand that you have the right to be represented by an attorney in these proceedings? Yes, sir. And you are, in fact, represented today, is that correct? Yes, sir. And Mr. Zane Harmon, you're here on behalf of this defendant, is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and you understand that you have the right to be continuously represented throughout this proceeding, and if you cannot afford to hire counsel, then this court is obligated under the Constitution to provide counsel for you without cost to you. All right, I am going to inform you of a few other matters, and I'm not going to ask you anything, just inform you. So one is, I want to make sure that you are aware that you have the right to remain silent. You don't have to say anything at all. And it's important to understand that because anything you might say could be used against you at further proceedings associated with your case. I want to inform you of the charges that you currently face. In essence, you are charged with 4 counts of felony murder as outlined in the state warrants that have been issued against you. I want to make you aware, your attorney. I would invite you, Mr. Harmon, to inform the court as to whether there's a request for bond at this time.
At this time, Your Honor, there is not a request for bond. We will file the appropriate motions if that becomes necessary.
All right. An indictment by the grand jury for most felony offenses or accusations. Well, you have the right to receive an indictment for these offenses. And I assume Mr. Brad Smith is here on behalf of the DA's office, or he is our district attorney. And he's accompanied by Ms. Patricia Brooks, who is his chief assistant. A preliminary hearing, you'll have the right also to a preliminary hearing, unless you make a bond, which of course at this point there's no bond being requested, or unless you waive such a hearing. You have the right to a speedy and public trial by a judge or a jury. You have the right to confront and cross-examine all witnesses. You have the right to call witnesses on your own behalf and testify in your own defense if you so choose. As you sit here in this courtroom today, under the law, you are presumed innocent. Your refusal to testify at any point in any proceeding will not be used against you in determining whether you are guilty or not guilty. Counsel, let me just inquire as to whether there are any other items that the court should address before we conclude this preliminary hearing.
No, Your Honor.
Well, I do have one piece of information to convey to the court. There was a development yesterday afternoon that makes it necessary for our office to have alternate counsel appointed, and arrangements have already been made in that regard. I've already explained that to Mr. Gray, and alternate counsel will be appointed by the end of the day today.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Donna C. Graves. All right, then with that, this hearing is concluded, and you may escort this defendant out.
All right, so we saw him, and I think his father actually is up next, and then we'll go ahead and conclude after this. This is the best information that we've got so far, so let's keep going.
Is up to 30 years imprisonment for felony involuntary manslaughter. Of course, again, there are 4 counts. The maximum penalty for each of those offenses is 10 years imprisonment. For the 8 felony cruelty to children counts, the maximum penalty under the law for each of those 8 counts is 10 years imprisonment, for a maximum total possible penalty for the charges that you currently are facing of 180 years imprisonment.
Cooked.
If you have questions about these charges, which I assume that you will, the court urges you to discuss those with your attorney. Let me inquire as to whether there's a motion for bond, if Mr. Gray is moving for bond at this time.
No, sir, not at this time. We will allow alternate counsel to make that decision.
All right, thank you. I also need to inform you that you have the right to an indictment by a grand jury, and you also have the right to a preliminary hearing unless you make bond or waive such a hearing. You have the right to a speedy and public trial by a judge or jury. You have the right to confront and cross-examine all witnesses. You have the right to call witnesses on your own behalf and testify in your own defense if you so choose. I want to make it clear to you, Mr. Gray, that you are presumed innocent. Your refusal to testify at any point cannot be used against you in determining whether you are guilty or not guilty. I mentioned the first appearance hearing a moment ago. That is being set for you for December 4th, 2024 at 8:30 a.m. Currently, that's set to take place in the Magistrate Court of Barrow County. It could be subject to change, but I just want you to know that that is the date that we currently have. In fact, counsel, could you approach, please? I have this, let's see, I need to scratch this out. This document that discusses bond and gives the date of preliminary hearing. I guess I could sign that and you can just see a copy of it. And then the warrants are attached to that.
Woo, and he rocking back and forth, man. He know he cooked, boy. Imagine that. One day you waking up, going to your construction job, and the next day you're cooked, getting arraigned and indicted. Whew.
So I would like for him to sign it. Please.
Right there, just let me get a copy of this. You just give me a copy. Let me get a copy of all the ones.
you want me to go ahead and give him his copy?
Yes, please.
And the page continues. And are these his copies of the warrants?
Those are provided, and they say service copies on them, so I assume that they're for him. Sergeant Briscoe, do you concur with that? Is that what those copies are for? Those are for the detention center? So he's got his own copies, or he'll have them provided? All right, so the detention center wants to hold on to those. All right, let me, and thank you, Missy Graves. I want to certainly acknowledge the presence of our district attorney, Mr. Brad Smith. He's assisted by his chief assistant, Patricia Brooks. Is there anything else, counsel, that the court needs to address that I neglected to address?
No, sir, not at this time.
All right, I do want to thank those who are in the gallery who have an interest and who have appeared. I appreciate the decorum that's been maintained throughout this proceeding, or both of these proceedings today. And with that, this matter is adjourned.
The attorney who's going to represent you, his name is James Rogers.
Yeah, so this guy, I mean, he was getting cooked at school for being gay. The bullies was on his head top. They weren't letting him live. You know, they weren't letting him get his shit off, no pun intended. And now they're all in trouble. It's crazy, man. Let's get into more of the victims as well. I also do want to show this video for context. There's a video of Colt Gray with his dad when he took him hunting, deer hunting, and you guys will see here this very disturbing video kind of foreshadowing this mass shooting.
2023, the first ever deer hunt for me and Colt. He's hunting with a 450 Bushmaster. Yes, sir. 107 yards. And let's go take a look. I'll follow you, sir. I see white. Holy crap. Look at that, brother. Go ahead and lay your rifle down on it like we had. Other way, barrel up. Barrel up? Yep, so you get mud in the barrel. Okay, it's okay. Lay that gun down like we had it for the picture. All right, remember, it's still loaded.
And this is from the Instagram profile of the mother, Marcy Gray. She said she was a proud mama right here. All are in agreement. So this is one thing she agreed with her husband on, him going buck hunting. And there's nothing inherently wrong with buck hunting. I've been buck hunting before. I love hunting. Love fishing. I'm a Georgia boy. What can I say? But when you start to take that energy and direct it at human beings, that's where we have an issue. And it looks like the blend between his online persona and his online video game playing, you know, personality and real life was just too, it was just too much for this man and his mind. And he crashed out, completely crashed out. What he did was wicked. He's an evil little kid, little bastard. Mama is a meth head. Daddy's a country bumpkin. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the narrative is all lined up. And it's just sad that people had to, you know, be victims. But yes, I like bass fishing and catfish. Some dudes. So shout out to some dude talking fishing over here.
Okay, beautiful. All right, lean down there and hold that head up. Let me see what you busted this morning. January 8th on your first ever deer hunt. Big old giant 3-pointer. Amazing. Look at that. Look at that, son. What a hell of a shot.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. How'd that 450 do? Did it kick hard? You couldn't even feel it, could you?
Nope.
What a shot. Hey, I love you, son.
Yep. I love you more.
Greatest day.
Yep.
All right, Mama. Hopefully you'll love this just as much as we do.
Yep.
See you later.
See.
Good.
Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. So he was trying to take the boy out, do something for his mama, send her a little video. And now there's more people threatening. There's more people threatening to shoot up schools in Athens, Georgia. Okay. I just saw this on my Facebook profile. And here I'll show you guys the mother's Facebook. I mean, should I? I don't think so. I mean, she didn't do shit, right? I shouldn't show that. But I mean, we did just show a video from her Instagram. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, they had a tumultuous upbringing. But there are people threatening there are people threatening other schools in the surrounding areas. But then we also have video of witness testimony and all this kind of stuff. So it's just a it's a whole shit show. Honestly, this story is a mess through and through. Now I'm just doing some more Twitter detective stuff. Just want to make sure I hit every major point. We covered the father. We've covered the victims. I think there was another female student victim who we haven't covered. Let me just double check and make sure. Victim. All right. Oh, they're saying he's not going to face a death penalty. So we just got a report from NPR. He won't face a death penalty. Damn it. That's crazy. That is wild. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, we have two teachers, two students. One looks like a Hispanic man, one black kid, Mason. We covered him. We covered the football coach, who is also a PE teacher, I believe, and we covered the Romanian female teacher. Now, the Hispanic kid, I haven't really seen much on this one, on this kid here, the other victim. But man, it's crazy what's going on out here. You know, everybody's saying mental health. We ain't giving them the excuse. We don't do that over here. That bullshit. Okay, yes, is something wrong with them mentally? They'll go into a school and shoot it up. Yeah, sure. And just like any nigga who would slide on his ops, there's something wrong with them mentally. But I think they are willing and able participants in this wickedness, and they should be held accountable just the same. I'm not the person to give these people the mental health out. That's bullshit. It's bullshit. Let's see. We got some takes from some influencers as well. Yeah, so, you know, everybody's saying mental health. I'm not even gonna play that. Let's see. We have the auntie coming out defending the young glider gremlin. They are charging my 14-year-old nephew as an adult for murder. Y'all ready to see Polymus blood in full throttle? Nah, I wouldn't be either. Please, someone get me in touch with GBI. I've tried calling. I am not scared. I will not back down. I will not disrespect other parents and families that are dealing with this tragedy on the opposite end. We don't have the rest of that, but let's see. Okay, so we got some comments on that post from Facebook. He never asked for what he's been through. I'm with you 1,000,000%. Prayers for everyone. So this is family. Somebody said, I agree with you. Praying for all. I am sorry, Annie. I am so sorry. We love you and your family. Prayers for all you all who are involved. I love you. Stand with you. Stand with you. Oh, hell no. Love you. Praying hard. I mean, there is a lot of cope in this comment section too now. Like, love you. We standing with you. I mean, I know it's hard that your nephew went out and crashed out, but damn. at least, condemn the actions. The Paulus family does not stand by the actions of our nephew, Colt Gray. What he did was wrong. We understand he came from a rough family background, but that doesn't excuse him of doing the things that he did. And we pray for the families. And that's the statement you give. I mean, geez. I taught Colt, and I know firsthand he dealt with so much. I love him and will be thinking about him and your family as you go through this tragedy. I'm so sorry. Such a sweet boy, Sonia Chambliss. Wow. That's a weird statement to make. Such a sweet boy. Man, I'm saying fry him. I'm saying fry him. All right, they expanded this comment. Let's see. I will not do anything but humbly. Oh, okay. I will not disrespect other parents and families that are dealing with this tragedy on the opposite end. They did not deserve this. I will not do anything but humbly support the families involved in this incident that did not ask to be participants. With that said, I will not leave my nephew standing alone. Oh, shit. She mentioned Uvalde. When Uvalde happened, I told my own children that only hurt people hurt people. I did everything I could to fight for my nephew and my niece and my other nephew. Y'all can go ahead and play the blame game all you want, but the families affected by my nephew's actions deserve all the attention now. I will take care of my nephew and what he needs on his side. Just check yourself before you speak about a child that never asked to deal with the bullshit he saw on a daily basis. Like what, dude? I mean, dude, you're getting picked on in middle school, elementary school. So what? Everybody gets fucking picked on. That's bullshit. These kids are such pussies now. It's crazy. It's absolutely ridiculous, man. And there are no excuses. Let's see. So they're saying this could be potentially his TikTok. Some of the reposts that he had. I'll play this. I'm not saying that this is his TikTok for the YouTube mods out there. I'm not saying it 100% is for sure, but people are saying it has been scrubbed. And let's just see the disturbing things that came from this little gremlin's mind.
Guns don't kill people. I do. I regret nothing. Guns.
So you heard that shit. Guns don't kill people. I do. I regret nothing. It says the postal dude is depicted as a middle-aged, tall, thin man sporting a soul patch and red hair. He is always seen wearing sunglasses and a long trench coat, who's colored something between games, as well as a T-shirt with a stamp of. I don't know. I don't think that's really important, but can't read it all. But yeah, that was pretty weird. Here's some more reposts from him, I guess. After going to too silly for my own good, and the police just want. Oh yeah, because he did get. He said me after going too silly for my own good, and the police just want to speak, because he did get interrogated by the FBI when he made that post. Yeah, people saying bro definitely did it. There were clear signs. I remember sharing a project with this guy in 7th grade. He was quiet and refused to speak with anyone. Now I see him do this. Wow. We should have seen the signs. Do not free, bro. They gonna say there was no signs, even though the signs was clear as day. Bro's looking up at us. Well, he ain't looking up. This him for show. He was definitely going through some things. This is the real Colt Gray social. Look at his recent posts or reposts. He is the one. Let's see. So no one saw the flags. If you actually the shooter at Appalachee, I really hope on your biggest downfall. The foreshadowing is crazy. This is wild. This is crazy, bro. So nobody's seen this as a red flag. What are his reposts? Foreshadowing. Yep, TikTok brain rot. That's pretty much what it is. Yeah, I went through the reposts. The reposts are, I don't know if the account is still up. Let's see. Let's see. Probably not. Colt Gray 679. Nope, the account is not active anymore. Okay. So yeah, the account is no longer active. 14 from Georgia. Not saying it is his account, but there's a strong inclination assertion that it potentially could be his account. There were other reports that Elon was censoring the Colt Gray story. That is definitely that's definitely a possibility. Let's see. Trying to see if there's any more information. Okay, that's pretty much what I got so far. If there's any new evidence that comes to light, I will bring it forward and just to, show you guys what's going on. Had a lot of people in that courtroom today. Let's see. Yeah, very scary scene. A lot of people were upset. We could probably get into more witness testimony later, but as of now, I think I'm going to conclude it here. We're approaching the 2-hour mark, and it's Friday. So I appreciate everybody who joined the stream. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Support the channel. Send the Cash App, send the PayPal. Show some love, because we definitely have to bring more attention to these mass shootings, school shootings. It's an evil, wicked thing that this individual did, and he needs to be held accountable to the fullest extent of the law. Hopefully he gets life in prison for taking the lives of other innocent children and adults who were doing the right thing in their personal lives. So you already know what it is. It is the Black Gen Z Mindset, aka Jenquavius Jackson, and we are going to send it to Jenquavius Jackson to take us away. Appreciate you joining in on the stream at BGZM News 17. And hey, man, stay safe out here, because these LGBT glider gremlins are on demon time. What's good, Shadow Realm? It's your boy Jenquavius Jackson, and y'all already know I'm demonetized and shadow banned in this bitch. So if you want to contribute, go to the Cash App, the PayPal, the GoFundMe, or join the Patreon. Also, don't forget to visit the merch store for all your favorite BGZM News 17 gear, including our exclusive Trump is a Blood t-shirt. Go fast before they sell out. They are already flying off the shelves, no cap. And remember, these super gremlins are on demon time.
Yo, what's good, BGZM News 17 family? I'm at the corner of Jesse Jackson and Marcus Garvey, and I got some bad news for you. As you can see, I lost my job. I'm out here living in cardboard boxes outside of boarded up vacant homes. YouTube said I'm done getting money out here in these streets. They even took my funky ass suit. So anything right now would help. So go ahead and hit that Cash App, hit that PayPal, hit that GoFundMe, hell, cop the merch. Or if you want to make the long-term commitment to the Jenquavius Jackson Fund, join the Patreon so that I can continue to put out top-notch content each and every day. Also, check out the Rumble, where there is absolutely no censorship. Link in the description box below.
Hey, yo, ain't that nigga Jenquavius? Yo, I recognize.
No, that's not me no more.
Hey, yo, run your pocket.
Y'all tell me what this is.
Do the opposite of Antonio Brown and take
What
all your
more
shit
do
off.
you want from me?
Gang violence and other kind of violence. So it is what it is.